I'm Jerry Purvis with the Star Herald. Welcome to the next episode of our new series, Table Talk. Our guest today is Annie Folck, who recently was appointed as Gering's new city engineer. Thank you for joining us this day,
Thank
Annie.
you for having me.
Okay. First off, tell us a little about your background and how you got interested in the field of engineering.
Well, I grew up on a farm out between Morrill and Lyman, and my dad also did a lot of contracting growing up as well, and so worked with him a lot. We put in a lot of pipelines, a lot of fence, a lot of different things like that, and so did a lot of surveying with him and different things that just got me interested in engineering.
Okay, so was engineering your chosen major when you went into college?
It was. I have a degree in civil engineering
From?
from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
So after you graduated from college, did you come back here for your first job? Or?
I did. I actually started with the city of Scottsbluff when I was 21, right out of college. It was a very interesting time to graduate in the field of engineering. It was in 2009, and as most people remember, we had the recession starting in 2008. Most engineering firms were laying off people, not hiring. So looking for an entry-level position was definitely a challenge. I was fortunate to get the job with Scottsbluff, which wasn't strictly an engineering position, but it allowed me to get experience and start working towards my license.
Okay, what was your first job with the city, and what were some of your duties?
My first role was a stormwater program specialist, and so I was working with the city's stormwater permit, doing public education, doing illicit discharge investigations. One of the big roles that was a little more engineering related was the construction permitting part of that too, so reviewing site plans and different things to make sure that it conformed with the stormwater permit requirements.
Okay, so then how did the city planner position for Scottsbluff, was that a new position that came up? Or?
They had had that position in the past, and then they had gone without a few years, and then they actually, for about a year, I think, had a shared position with Alliance and had someone in that position. When he left, they determined that they wanted their own full-time planner and were hiring, and at that point I decided to apply and was hired as their planner.
Okay, as a city planner, what were some of the projects you were involved with there?
Well, some of the big ones were our downtown revitalization and some of the changes we made there, a lot of the landscaping we did. We had a lot of development projects come through while I was there, some big tax increment financing projects, including the Fairfield Inn, the Regana, along with the Regana dealership. That was probably my first TIF project that I worked on. We also did some at Five Oaks with some of the developments there. We worked on a lot of ordinances, made a lot of changes to try to make it easier for people, make our ordinances more effective and easier for people to develop.
Okay. So the importance of a city planner is what?
Having some consistency. I guess I should add one of the big projects that we worked on was a new comprehensive plan. And so it's so important for a city to know where they're going so that they're not just always reacting to anything that's thrown at them, so that they can be proactive in pursuing different goals. They can work on a lot of different, apply for grant funds, apply for programs, different things to help them along the way. They can provide predictability to anyone wanting to come in and develop. They can make sure that if someone has an idea, they can, rather than just reacting to it and saying, yeah, it works or no, it doesn't work, they can say, well, when we met with the public, they felt like this was a good idea, and so here's the location that we think is appropriate for something like that, which gives the city staff and council and everyone just a lot more backing, a lot more standing for making some of these difficult decisions.
So what prompted your move to Gering?
I had some changes in my personal life. I had a baby, and so was looking to kind of have a more flexible schedule, a little less time at work. At the same time, there were some changes at Scottsbluff, and it was just good timing all around, and so I was able to go to Gering initially as 3-day-a-week part-time, and now that's worked into now I'm going to be 4 days a week, but it's been a really good fit. The other thing too is that Scottsbluff contracts out there engineering. They don't have a city engineer position. And that's something that I always wanted to do, is get more into the engineering. And with Gering having an engineer on staff, I thought that would be a good opportunity to get some experience and maybe eventually work towards that position. It's happened a lot sooner than I initially ever would have thought, but it will be very good for me career-wise.
So you had the opportunity to work a little bit with the previous city engineer to get your feet wet in what Gering was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit, not a lot, but been able to get some experience on some of the projects they've been working on up to now, to where I have a lot more knowledge than I did even a year ago.
Okay. One of the big projects, the Gering City Plaza, and it started with the farmers market, and it seems like all communities have a farmers market. What is the importance of that to the community and drawing in people?
I think it is essential to have a location where people can gather. You know, it's kind of, they call them third places. People have where they live, they have where they work, but they need other places they can go outside of work and home to meet with other people, to have that social interaction. And it's equally important for our downtown especially to bring people in as much as possible. I think all of our local businesses, it's not unique to our communities, but all local businesses everywhere are struggling to compete with online businesses. And so it's, how do you give them that competitive edge? Well, one of the things you can do is make it a more enjoyable experience for them to come downtown. And so that's the overall goal of this plaza, is to give them a place where they can come, that's really a destination that draws people in, and then with the hopes that they will then support our local businesses while they're down there. And the farmers market as well is also a great attraction. A lot of people really enjoy being able to buy local produce, local food, and anything we can do like that to get people downtown. And even if they aren't able to go to a shop while they're there that night, if they drive by and they see it's there, they may realize that there's something there that they wouldn't have thought about otherwise. And so with our downtown plaza, I think that's going to be a great way to get residents and visitors to our downtown.
Construction continues on the downtown plaza. When is the completion date, and what is some of the first events you'll be having there?
The completion date is August 31st, and so that's going to be completion of all of the hardscape. That's not going to include the landscaping. That'll be separate. We're going to be doing that ourselves. So the contract for the fence and the lighting and the bathrooms and the hardscape, all of that should be complete at the end of August. So following that, I don't know if you'd call it an event, but the first thing we'll be doing is getting in there and planting all those landscape beds. So then the first actual thing we'll do there is a ribbon cutting, and we want to do a nice dedication. We've got a good area. If you have a picture of if you see the bathroom buildings, we've left a space on the front that we're going to put a dedication plaque so that we can express our appreciation to the mayor and council and all of the Downtown Revitalization Committee, because they've worked for years on this project. And we'll set that plaque in stone and do a nice ribbon cutting and dedication of the plaza.
Carla Needen-Strakes with the Gering Visitors Bureau said that they would like the plaza to be busy throughout the year. So what are some of the events they have planned to go on throughout the year there?
We've talked about a lot of different things. I don't want to be too specific, I guess, because we haven't worked out the details of all of these, but we've talked about doing something geared around a Halloween event. We've talked about doing something geared around, possibly a Christmas tree lighting in the plaza that could be an add-on to the events with the Christmas parade, things like that. Santa's Village, of course, is a huge thing in Gering. We don't have plans to move that into the plaza because I think they like being on 10th Street and being visible where they are. But we could certainly do events to complement that. So people go to Santa's Village and then they can walk over and have something additionally at the plaza.
So how will reservations and scheduling of activities be handled there for the plaza?
That's going to be done through Carla's office. They already have some guidelines for renting it and everything. It's basically an extension of the Civic Center. So if you think of what you do when you call to book the Civic Center, it'll be a similar process when you call and want outdoor space in the plaza for an event.
I'm sure you have a lot of projects going on, but what is Gering's next big project that you're working with?
Probably the next large-scale one, well, that is already very much in progress, would be the quad field project, where we're going to be building new baseball and softball fields in Oregon Trail Park to replace the existing.
And that's will start later this year?
We are still in design for that. We're still trying to determine if there's enough of a window to try to do that this fall or not. The difficult part of that is there's a very short window to try to get sod because we have to do a lot of grading, and so trying to get the sod in the ground and still have water for it. We're still determining when we're going to be able to do that. We're very excited. We did receive, actually council just signed the grant agreement last night. We did receive a $225,000 grant from the Nebraska Game and Parks. It's their Land and Water Conservation Fund, and so that's going to help with the funding for this. It's going to give us a little more cushion in our budget and make sure that, you know, if there's more that we can, the more money we get grant funded, of course, the more that frees up our Parks Department budget.
Anything else you'd like to add? I'm very excited about my new position. Gering is a great community. There's a lot of things I miss about Scottsbluff. There's a lot of people I miss from Scottsbluff, but I truly love the community of Gering too, and it's just been a good fit. I've really appreciated all the people that I've been able to work with.
Thank you for joining us on Table Talk, and thank you, Annie, for taking time from your day to share your story with us.
Thank you.